This out. We are live. So I decided to do something a little different for once. I've been having trouble with uploading videos. Just so you guys know, I shoot everything on an iPhone. I shoot it, I edit it, the whole 9 yards. And my phone, with some recent updates, has just been getting the memory has gotten full and it's not letting me shoot videos. There's a lot of crazy things going on with the phone, but decided I would try to work on the car live and let you guys just hang around with me for those that are interested. And, you can see the problems I have, and, we just give it a shot until the phone battery goes down. But first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to work on the exhaust. So, let me get under here and I'll show you guys what's going on. See, I noticed I've got this on a tripod, so it's a gimbal tripod. Notice we got a leak here. Looks like axle boot is leaking. Got a little bit of an oil leak going on now. That beeping is this gimbal. But as far as the exhaust goes here, we've got 3 bolts here on the end where the catalytic converter is. Then we've got 2 bolts here. This one, and then one up in there that's a little bit difficult to get to. As you can see, the oil filter is in the way. And while we're under here, you can take a look at this. Somebody welded the exhaust together. So if I ever want to remove this whole system, I have to cut it off. But this is what we're going to be doing. This gimbal I have has a tripod built into it. We'll see if I've not used this before stationary. Oh boy. So maybe this isn't going to work. Let me take it off here. I may have to figure out another way to set this up. Turn this off. Okay. Let's see. Okay, seems to be stationary now. Not sure what you guys are going to be able to see here. It's really bright out, so it's hard for me to see. You probably aren't going to be able to get in here and see what I'm doing because of the angle. So after I do this exhaust, then I'm going to be working on the rear suspension. So here we go, right here. You guys can see it. Of course, once I get up in here, I may be blocking you. I did spray these down a few days ago with some PB Blaster. They're really, really rusty looking. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But I'm going to have to work on these down here first. And you're not going to get much of a view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually end the video for right now. And I'm going to get underneath here and see. Again, I'm not sure what you guys can see. This is when having like a headband or something would come in handy. Yeah, you guys might be able to see if I can stay out of the way to do this. So I have to go get some tools. Get under here and start working. I may need some more PB Blast under here. Trying to get this top one off is going to be difficult because the oil filter is right in the way. I guess probably the better idea would have been to change the oil the same time I was doing this. But I want to get this swapped out. The heat shield fell off the catalytic converter and it's allowing the apron to get pretty hot. Plus we've got some damage. This car was a lowrider before. Muffler itself is in pretty good shape. But since I have that nice new header, decided to put it on.
So it looks like we've got 13mm bolts and nuts here. I do have to go and get some new nuts and bolts, so I had to run to the store for that. So what we're going to be doing here is just taking it off at this point, and yeah, give me a minute and I will go and get some tools and be back. And let's look at this oil leak over here while we're down here. See, we got a lot coming from back here. This is interesting. We got to get under here and clean this all up. We got some push rod tubes leaking. But typically, if you got oil on the passenger side of the engine, it's not normally oil cooler. And we got grass in here from being off-road. You can see the leak here on the boot. I'm not sure what it's coming from. We're gonna have to get up there and fix that. This gimbal is really odd to use. I've not used it in any confined spaces before. You guys can get a look at the AC, the condenser, where it is on this car, up here above the transmission. And because they installed that here, they had to move a lot of stuff. You got this charcoal canister, which is moved, and it's actually not even connected on one side. How about this oddity here? Look at this. This is the AC lines. These lines run down the tunnel. They run. You guys can get a good look at the pans. Floor pan's pretty much perfect. It had quite a few dents in it from being hard. I was able to hammer out most of them and get it pretty straight. There's still a few in there, and of course, being that it's a car, I'm sure we're gonna get some more scrapes and all. That's the original coating on these. It's kind of like a primer. And of course, back here we have grease, which I haven't cleaned off. But we're going to get to one thing at a time. I'm going to have to pull the back suspension apart on both sides so I can replace the spring plates with the notch ones that I have, raise the backing up a little bit more, and get a little bit more height on this. I can't go super high because of it being a swing axle. It's just going to be pigeon-toed real bad. But got to get it a little bit higher. The front end sits way higher than the back. I hope you guys are all having a great day. Let me go get some stuff. I'm going to stop the live video for now because I'm sure you don't want to sit here for a couple minutes with nothing going on. And I will be back. So just bear with me. You know what? I'll leave it running and we'll go from there just in case. Because then, of course, if I have to start it up again, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. So let me just over here. Try to get that in the picture so you guys will be able to see. Go grab some tools and I'll be right back. So talk amongst yourselves in comments. Okay. Alright, don't mean to leave you guys hanging here. This was kind of an impromptu thing I decided to do. Figure what exactly we need. Get into that one that's kind of tough. So again, let's just do some more PB blasting here. I'm spraying these other ones that are right above my face right now. I don't want a PB blast shampoo going on. Would be the first or the last time some chemicals in my hair or face. Probably the worst ever been was diesel fuel. I don't know about you guys ever work on a diesel, but I don't know what it is about that diesel fuel, but you just cannot get the smell out. I think it took weeks before it came out. Woo! Excuse me. Made me sneeze there. Let's see if we can get this guy with this wrench. Okay, I think I might be able to do that. This is an awesome, excuse me, an awesome wrench. Back in the 1980s, I actually bought a few Snap-on tools when I worked at Total Performance Buggies in Tampa. This is one of the few Snap-ons I have. Most everything I have are cheap tools. But I bought this 13 swivel and a 10 swivel, and they've come in so handy over the years. Let me just get in the tight corners and all, and we'll see this. If it'll work. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I figured I'd do this live thing as something a little bit interesting because, you know, for me, I usually run into a lot of bizarre problems when I'm working on cars. I did this, I guess, for a living back when I was in college. I had a business with a friend of mine, and I worked on cars. But I would always run into the most bizarre situations. And you know, if you're working in the automotive field, especially if you're getting paid, you know, hours that a book says, you know, you really, if you can beat the time, you can make more money. If you can't beat the time and you're slower, then you're pretty much losing money. And that was always a situation for me. I always had complication after complication. I recently was talking about my buddy Jim Wise, who passed away. It was the anniversary of his death in February, and I'm working this back and forth here just so we don't end up breaking this. Not that it really matters because it's on that muffler, but I give it a little bit and then work it back and forth. We put a little bit more blast on there. But Jim, one of the amazing things about him is he had like a golden touch. I mean, he could take anything apart, put it together. You know, he did a lot of VW builds. He kind of got focused on water-cooled cars, and I mean, he would take cars that had, you know, just bare bones cars, and he would go to the junkyard. He'd pull the power windows, power door locks, AC systems out, and he would just convert the cars he had and put all that stuff in there. And it just amazed me on, you know, how he did everything. He just did such an amazing job. I was always in awe of his talent. And the thing about him too, and he and I used to joke about this because, you know, I said, you know, everything always goes right for you when you're doing these jobs. I mean, he never ran into problems, where it was the complete opposite for me. But, you know, that's how it is in life. Some people are gifted with just extreme talent. Okay. See, that wasn't a good idea, the swivel on here. Some people are extremely gifted where they just have a natural talent for whatever it may be, you know, mechanical, and it could be drawing, it could be cooking, anything. You know, we all have God-given talents. Ooh, listen to that. That sounds like it wants to break. And oh, I'm sorry about your ears, guys. Sorry about your ears. Doesn't sound good on this side either, trust me. But yeah, Jim and I had a very similar path. It was interesting because we ended up both of us worked for Volkswagen at the same time, and you know, he was fortunate. The dealership he worked at, he had a little bit more opportunities than I did, but it was cool. And I think about, you know, what he'd think about some of these projects. But every time I get out here to do something on the car, I always pray, like, God, please let things go smooth. You know, let's try to do things without complication. But because of the problems that I had working on cars, you know, it just, if it could go wrong, it would go wrong type of a deal. I decided it probably wasn't the best for me to continue as a profession. You know, maybe I should be doing other things. And, you know, and that comes in the hobbies here too. You know, with this car, the Ocho here, the Mexican Beetle, you know, I've had a lot of issues with him with, you know, I kind of get the feeling this car maybe was a junkyard vehicle at one point, because there's so much with this car that is wrong. It boggles my mind. It really does. I think I'll leave this up here just in case. We got to take the 3 off on the other side, and I've got to disconnect the oxygen sensor up top. So let me do that real quick, and then I'll reposition you guys so you can see a little better. Let's see, what can you see here? This one's going to be tough because the angle, the wheel is right here. I'm not sure I can really get this for you guys. You see my leg over here. Yeah, and you can't see over my shoulder. So okay. All right, I guess you can see it. I have to try to stay out of get my head out of the camera there. Here's another one. This is a snap-on carburetor wrench. This thing is awesome because of the S pattern. Oh, look at this. There we go. It's not a 13. This is the issue with the Ocho 2. Well, kind of sort of a 15. Yeah, okay. So of course I don't have a 15 wrench with me over here. Let's see how tight this is. Yeah. We're gonna need a little bit more leverage on this. I don't think I can fit this in there. Nope. Gonna have to find a 15 wrench. Yeah, with the pipes, pretty much everything's gonna be in the way. And of course we've got the one up top to try to get off. The real problem with this is that the oxygen sensor is literally right next to that nut. I mean, right next to it. I don't even know if there's a millimeter of space between the two. I don't think you guys can see it. So, all right. So here's the oxygen sensor wire. Now, I could not find the actual Beetle one. The part number showed up to be the same for a Golf and Jetta, so the wire itself is longer. I'm just going to pull it up to the top and loop it, and if need be I could end up shortening it, but it was either spend $150 on one from Mexico or $50 from one on eBay that was supposedly will work. So we're doing a budget build here, so we want to try to save as much money as we can. All right, so I got to go find a 15 wrench. I don't know if I have one in this tool bag here. Okay, got a few different choices here. We actually have this nice one here for like brake lines, things like that. Huh, we're rounding it off. Yeah, not good. What size that is. Now it feels like it's a 14. That's funny. Felt like a 15. 14 is not something you usually use, so that's probably not in my bag here. Oh, well, I do have one in the bag. Let's see if this will work. Oh, can't fit it on that way. Yeah, that's not gonna move. Yeah, and if you end up with stuck nuts, using some heat definitely will get things moving. No doubt about it. Now I'm going to replace these with stainless steel, so we're not going to worry about them rusting again. No worries at all. When I was driving this off-road last time, we were in some pretty tight, we're on a trail that was really flooded out to the point of being too deep for our cars, and had to turn this thing around on the trail. And when I was backing it up, I ended up hitting a low tree. Now I thought I hit it with the bumper, but I actually hit it with the apron, so I bent the apron, unfortunately. Now, because I'm trying to stay out of the way of you guys, I can't even see this nut on the other side. So if you guys are wondering why I seem to be having a hard time with this, that's why. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm trying to stay out of your way so you can see. Now, I really don't know how I'm going to get the top one off. As you can see, as difficult it is trying to get these guys where I have all sorts of open space. Yeah, we're going to have to figure out something. And that's usually what happens is, you go into something like this and you think to yourself, 5 bolts, pretty accessible. I'll be done in like 15 minutes. And then reality sets in, and you end up with something like this up in here. Just for the fun of it, while we're here, can I even get anything on this? Not from there. Yeah, that oxygen sensor is right in the way. Which means I'm probably going to have to remove it, which is what I didn't want to do. Okay, now I can get the wrench on this side, so might be able to work some vice grips over here. Although I don't know if I'll have enough leverage to even move this. But in order for me to do that, I'm gonna have to get right in the way of you guys, because I need the best possible line of sight and angle that I can get. All right, I gotta move you guys over. So I'm just gonna give you just a little view down here while I'm down here. Getting a better look at this. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, you may, I don't even know, wow, about installing it's how it's gonna be. But yeah, you've got maybe 2 millimeters from the oxygen sensor and that nut, maybe. So it's pretty jammed up in there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go and work on the top one first. Gotta get my headband light because it's, even though it's bright out, I can't really see. Got the little skinny needle nose vice grips. Try to get in here. See if I even have room to clamp these on, which I don't think I do. Maybe. You know, that's the thing about working on cars, is having the right tools makes all the difference in the world to being able to do the job. Big old chunk of rust just came down. I got it broke free, guys. That's that top bolt, the one that's hard to get to. I just got dirt in my eye. Let me turn this around, and you guys can see, since I moved out of your way. Let's see, here we are. There's a little remote on here I haven't learned how to use yet. Alright, I'm hoping you guys can see. Maybe. There you go, you can see the vice grip. Now, where was I? I completely forgot. That's the squirrel moment there. See, we had a couple people watching. Say nobody watching at the moment. I know it's not exactly super exciting. Whoever's joining us, thanks for joining. I'm in the middle of doing the exhaust here on the 97 Mexican Beetle. Trying to get, there it is. This bolt out of the top that has got no clearance. But thanks to those vice grips, able to do it. Now we've got one more on the bottom here. Once we get this one, and same thing, we can't get it on that side. I don't know if we can get a socket in on here. Let's see if we can. Make life a lot easier. Yeah, look at that, we can. This is an awesome ratchet, by the way. This was a gift given to me actually by my parents, and it's a Sears adjustable ratchet, and I love this thing, as you can tell. I mean, I use it for just about everything. It's telescopic, it pivots, I mean, you name it. This thing just is extremely versatile. All right, so let's do the same thing over here. Gonna use that. And I don't care if I break these because I'm replacing them. Wow. That actually popped the vice grip off. How about that? Get this thing a bit tighter. If you're just tuning in, got a couple things on the agenda. We're doing the exhaust on this 97 Mexican Beetle. Sounds like that's spinning. And it is spinning, okay. I can't see because I'm on the other side. I may have to go to the bigger vice grips. Ah, we broke it. Which I don't care. But that's what I was talking about earlier here is when you got rusted bolts, you got to work it back and forth to avoid breaking it. I did that on the other side because I didn't want those to break. These, I didn't care. I just wanted to get them off. Okay, so let me move you guys. And again, my phone is on a gimbal here, and I can't really see what's going on. So this is disconnected, and we just have this one nut that I left on over here, just so it didn't fall and smash onto the ground. Bracket, and here we go. Ah, there it is, guys. It is out. Now I can see the apron. I still got a lot of off-road dirt up in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get the this last bolt out. I'm going to grab the new exhaust, just kind of sort of test fit it up in here and see how it looks. Where are we at? Okay. Take a look at this. You can see this oxygen sensor. I bet it's going to be real difficult to get out of here. I don't know if you can see the wire cover has been burned from the heat. But that's how this Mexican Beetle is made. This muffler is, the catalytic converter is welded to the muffler. And it was mentioned earlier, the heat shield fell off of this. And allowed the apron to get a little bit hot up in here. All right, so I gotta go grab that other exhaust, so bear with me a second, or two, or three, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, try to get this in the camera so you can see it. So this is the beauty right here. Oh wow, yeah. That is gonna give us a lot more space. But now we have a new problem, it looks like, because it looks like we've got a pretty big gap up here. Oh boy. And you know, we are right into the same issue that we have. I always talk about, if you guys have spent any time on this channel at all, let's see if this is a 13 or a 14. No, it is a 13. Okay. If you guys have spent any time on this channel at all, you'll know that the reason why I created Dub World in the first place is because I was restoring a 69 Beetle, and I just kept getting trash aftermarket parts. I mean, one after the other. No matter what I got, I had problems with, and no matter where I got it from, I had problems with. So I started out with a Facebook page where I was just doing reviews of parts. And then, you know, I thought to myself, you take all these pictures all the time, why not just do video? And why not share it with everybody? Because YouTube's got a way bigger audience than Facebook. Not everybody's on Facebook. So that's what I did. And you know, the channel has grown over the last 4 years. I think we're going on 5 years now. But you know, just started out originally as parts reviews, but then I changed it to include, you know, VW events, car shows, different things like that to just kind of have a little more fun. This is not good, guys. How in the world did this happen? So it looks like there's going to be a huge gap here. I'm going to have to figure this out. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. This bracket doesn't even want to fit on here, right? Man. It's a little bit off where these studs are welded. Just gonna set this up here. Washer. I hope you guys can see this, because I can't see what you're seeing. The threads really need to be messed with on this. You guys can see how giant this OT sensor. Oh, great. Well, I just knocked you guys down. Sorry about that. That was a calamity. Oof. Well, that's the real world. Here we go. Since you're off the gimbal. So here's what we're looking at. Try to get this around. I don't know if you guys can see this. When this is lined up here, can you see that gap right there? Now, of course, there's a metal gasket that goes there, but it looks like it is almost, man, I want to say a quarter of an inch. Look at that up top. Can you see that gap there? Versus that is not good. I think I'm going to have to bend the bracket. Yes, that's the issue right there. So you guys can see the bracket, the flat bracket on the muffler. I'm gonna have to bend that down. So bear with me, guys, because of course the phone fell off the stand and I gotta hold this with one hand. So just be patient with me while I'm getting this off of here. So the problem I have when I go to bend this, all right, let's see. Oof. Problem I have when I go to bend this bracket here is I'm going to be bending this down for that pipe, but when I bend that, it's going to actually make these two studs want to pull into each other. And I told you this bracket already is super tight on here. As you can see, it really doesn't even want to go on because the stud needs to be pulled out. So that's going to be interesting to see how I can do this. I'm probably going to, and again, this is where you think something is simple and then it ends up being a lot more complex. That's where this comes in. Because instead of just being able to bolt this on, hey, okay, great, we're off and running. Now we're gonna have to come in here and most likely heat this up, bend this in, and then bend the studs out to fit into this bracket. So that's gonna be next. So that's our fun, guys. That's where we're at. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break for now, and I'm going to go up to the work table and I'm going to work on this, and then I'll come back and I'll do more live video once I get things situated. But it may take me some time to get that squared away. And, you know, I appreciate your time. We've already been on here, gosh, 49 minutes. Wow. Time flies, right, when you're having fun. But I do appreciate those who are watching now and those who are tuning in. And if it becomes something that you're interested in, I'll do some more live videos. And hopefully I'll get things squared away so that you can see better. But I do plan, after getting this done, doing the suspension. So that will be a little bit easier for me to set up on a tripod and show you guys versus being underneath the car and trying to maneuver around. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. Thank you all for being here. And we'll tune in a little bit later.